I know why you clicked on this video. It's because my eyes in the thumbnail are staring directly into yours, and we had like a weird pause moment, and you had to click on the video to make sure that I wasn't going to mention it. But I did. So now you're freaked out. And the only way to not be freaked out is to watch the rest of the video to make sure at some point I switch topics, which I will do right now. So if you've been watching me on my live streams, by the way, twitch.tv/enders, follow the stream in the description. I have been streaming Delta Force every single day since the PC playtest came out for, at bare minimum, 4 hours, if not 6, 7, 8 hours. I'm grinding this game. And for the most part, the experience has been very positive. However, you've seen the title of the video. There are some concerns, and here are my updated thoughts about Delta Force Hawk Ops. I have enough time in the game now where I'm starting to identify the little things that piss me off, and that is the big, important stuff. It might seem little, but it's actually the important stuff. So without further ado, here are my updated thoughts about Delta Force Hawk Ops and whether or not I think the game has a legitimate chance of surviving, doing well, holding a player base, all that sort of stuff. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course follow the stream. First link in the description. So the very first thing I want to mention up front here is I acknowledge that Delta Force is actually doing quite a good job of communicating. They really are. They're making dedicated videos. They're trying to answer questions. The Twitter's very active. And, that's very great to see. However, the number one problem with the game, for me and many others, especially the people that play Havoc Warfare, is the fact that there's AI in the game. And they've made statements, they have covered this, but they haven't made this statement that I think people are wanting to hear, at least not at the time of recording this video. And that statement is a 100% guarantee that AI will be removed from Havoc Warfare, which is the battlefield mode that you see gameplay of in the background, upon the release of Delta Force. Just to calm nerves, because let me tell you something right now. These AI are 8-time gold medalist in the Olympics, UFC champion in every weight class, greatest shooter of all time. Like, they're insane, is what I'm trying to say. And they actively ruin the gameplay. That is the number one thing that is putting a damper on the Delta Force experience. And part of me is thankful for that, because the decision is so crystal clear that I feel as though they're going to do it. Because how could they not do it? It's literally a life or death decision for the game. You don't remove AI from the battlefield mode? Okay, your game dies. It's actually that simple. Now, diving more into the nitty-gritty stuff here, the gunplay of Delta Force. I do like the gunplay. I think it is absolutely harder than Battlefield's gunplay. I think it feels better, right? It feels great. However, the more I play the game, the more I realize that the weapon builds you can make and just the gunplay in general, the way the mechanics are, the engagement distances are way too far. I get AR sprays over 100 meters consistently, and I am simply not going to entertain any, but realistic, No, I'm not. We're not talking about that, okay? We're talking about the game. We're talking about what I believe to be healthy for the game, and the realistic, harsh truth we have to come to is they actually need to change the gunplay of this game, or else the weapon balance is going to be an utter nightmare. I can already feel it while I play the game. Try using a bolt action fighting against a good player with an AR. You're getting flinched every single time you peek. Good luck. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be the guy that says this, okay? I know the way to fix it. No, it's not more recoil. No, it's not nerfing the weapon setups. The way to fix it is adding spread to the gunplay and making it sort of like Battlefield 3 gunplay where you have to burst in order to reset your accuracy. Yes, I know, gasps through the audience. Oh my god, no, I hate spread. Unfortunately, guys, that is actually the only solution that I can come up with. And funnily enough, Battlefield 2042 had this exact same problem. People were complaining they were getting killed instantly across the map, so DICE actually made the correct decision, and they added more spread to the gunplay to reduce engagement distances. That is what they should have done. Now, directly coinciding with the gunplay is the time to kill. People have been asking me a ton on my streams and in YouTube comments, do you think the time to kill is too fast, Enders? And I do think so. I think it's slightly too fast. The game could do with just a slight adjustment to the time to kill. Nothing crazy. We're talking maybe a few damage range tweaks. Maybe you add a bullet to kill to 1 or 2 weapons, maybe a few more weapons. Other than that, don't touch it. Now, in terms of some other gameplay elements, they've already addressed the movement. They're going to try to make it smoother so you don't get stuck on the ground. They're going to speed it up. I think that's great. I think I would love to see some stance transition improvements. That's the biggest thing that I noticed going between Battlefield and this game is the stance transitions, meaning going from prone to crouch or from standing to prone in Delta Force are just not as good feeling as the ones in Battlefield. They're not as smooth. You can't perform as many actions. The actions per minute in Delta Force is lower than Battlefield. It can't handle doing all of these things at once, and that contributes to the lack of fluidity in the gameplay. And the good news is, guys, pretty much all of these things that I've spoken about are relatively obvious things. Like, they're really simple to fix, at least in theory, maybe not in practice. And the same can be said for the following things as well. I think screen shake is a bit out of control, to be honest. And again, easy fix. You just need to copy Battlefield and add a screen shake slider to the options menu. That's all you need to do. So you don't need to nerf it across the board and make people angry that perhaps enjoy the quote-unquote immersion of the screen shake. You just need to give people the option. And the same can be said for the minimap and crosshair settings. Just quality of life things. That is what Delta Force needs. Now, some things that aren't quality of life and are definitely concerning, the maps. I've played a lot of hours on these maps, both of them, Cracked, and I believe the map is called Ascension. Listen, I forgot the map name. I don't even know. I'll start by talking about Ascension from the attacker perspective. The attackers just always seem to have high ground on the defenders. Constant high ground. That is why defense feels so terrible on Ascension. And to be honest, I leave most of my defense games on both of these maps, Cracked and Ascension, because it is genuinely that unenjoyable. Now, maybe this will change when we have teams full of real players. I'm not entirely sure, but it certainly feels really difficult to defend some of these points, and then simultaneously, the script flips based on what point you're fighting on, and sometimes it's impossible to capture the point. So I think Ascension, as a map in general, can be incredibly frustrating for both sides. And the best area of gameplay is definitely, I think, the first 2 sectors. When you start to get to the cave point, which people compare to Iwo Jima, then the last point, where you're just basically running into a seemingly infinite amount of head glitches on the very last point, it generally just feels incredibly frustrating to play. Now, Cracked is a better map than Ascension, 100%. But I also think it is a way more complicated map than Ascension. It is way more difficult to read, and there are so many little separate tiers and plateaus and head glitches and hills and buildings that you can get on top of and get crazy angles. The map is really hard to push on. So in general, my impressions of these 2 Havoc Warfare maps that I've played in Delta Force so far are, I would say they're probably like 5 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10. I certainly hope there are some better maps in Delta Force than these 2 we get to play. Again, they're not the worst maps. They're definitely better than a lot of the maps in Battlefield 2042, but I would compare Cracked somewhat to Haven. It does have that same sort of feel with just a ton of weird little areas of verticality, and the visibility's bad because there's so many buildings and little places you can get on top of and all the foliage. And all of this adds up to make a map that is generally very difficult to read in some scenarios. And just a quick reminder, if you are watching to this point and enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel as I stream every single day on this channel, and I upload regularly. So thank you guys so much for watching to this point, and of course leave a like. Helps the video a ton. The last thing I will mention is the concerns regarding this game's monetization. They've actually come out and stated that they're absolutely 100% aware of the pay-to-win, 10-cent microtransactions things, and they've stated just flat out that's not going to happen. So I think those concerns can realistically be put to rest. And that is certainly fantastic news, considering this game also has an extraction shooter attached to it. Comment down below if you want me to play it. I've never played an extraction shooter in my entire life. But I think the main reason why people were concerned about these microtransactions is because the extraction shooter. You see some of these games have crazy microtransactions that are absolutely pay to win for extraction shooters. Like some of these vests that you can buy in this one game that I saw on Twitter can tank 40 shots and you can pay real money to get them. Like, no thanks. I'm never going to play that in my life. And I believe that game was called Arena Breakout Infinite. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Again, I'm not really that up to date with these extraction shooters. But overall, I feel as though Delta Force is in a great place in its alpha state to make great progress to become a fantastic game if the correct decisions are made. I think the correct decisions are incredibly obvious for most of these things. It would not take much, is my point. So fingers crossed they make those correct decisions, and I hope this clears up people saying, oh, Enders hates the game, or because I see some people saying that, oh, the honeymoon period is over. No, I'm allowed to voice my frustrations with the game. That's totally fine. But I can also acknowledge that the game is definitely the best thing that I've played in quite a long time, probably since Gundam Evolution, RIP. So definitely let me know your thoughts about Delta Force if you've played it. Let me know if you want to play the game, if you're on console, if you're waiting for it, and if you enjoy the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow the Twitch stream, and also stream on YouTube as well because I multi-stream. Turn notifications on for uploads and streams, and let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see a merch drop. What would you like to see in that merch drop? You can comment anything from, oh, I want a hoodie or a t-shirt. Or you can comment a elaborate design that you have an idea for. I want to hear from you guys because I want to drop something that you guys want. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.